Well, hello everybody. Here it is. It's me, Ollie, on this gorgeous Saturday morning, and we are now at lesson 4. We're going to talk about copyrights and editing and how both are basically intertwined in your production. So again, we're looking again at our course objective. It's always important to focus on why we're doing this. The reason why is we talked about SMART goals. So when we talk about SMART goals like last week, we need to go back to our goal. Our main goal of the course is that participants will be learning different strategies and ways to increase their visibility online and offline as they best prepare for the 2021 Vancouver Outsider Arts Festival. So again, you know our learning outcomes. We've learned about our communication skills, and now we're going to look more into, the role that media plays in artistic promotion, but more the part about intellectual property when sharing our work online. And then we're going to look more into our abilities to use basic technological tools when it comes to video production. So we're going to use again what we've used in course 1, but we're going to transfer it to video editing. So again, if you look at our timeline, we have now reached to course number 4. So both editing and copyrights. And next week, it will lead on to how do we create a network and use all of these promotional tools that we've created with the integration of copyrights, and how do we package this to send to other festivals, galleries, or fairs that you want to apply to, and how to keep a network with different artists. So today our menu, so again, we always have to do a review because everything that we are learning here is like Lego blocks. We're adding on until we reach the end goal. So we have to go back to make sure that like everything that we're taking in today can be taken within a context. So we are going to go over the video for the Vancouver Outsider Arts Festival again, but more towards the end, adding more information on video editing. We're going to look on copyrights and protecting our work. We're going to look at different tools that you can use, different softwares, but I'm going to mainly focus again on things that are free so we can all start on an equal basis. And then you're going to have a greater workshop period today because I would like to have more small group settings according to needs. Group you with people that would like to share their work, what they're struggling with, what they're happy about, happy thoughts, and then give you time to explore the editing part of your video with you. So again, today, all you need is a computer or maybe a recording device. You can use your ring light if you want as well. Okay, so now you see our review. You know, this is like, you know, you're having a test, you have your cheat sheet, and this is it. This is all the things that are important so far. So adding again a grid more will help you with a composition of your pictures or videos. So you remember course 1, we've learned about the grid mode on your device. The grid mode is important for video production as well. Okay, so I'm not going to go over everything that we've done in course 1, but everything that we've done in course 1 in terms of grid mode will be able to be transferred onto our knowledge on how to take a video. The artistic statement tells the audience about your process. It's written in a first-person point of view. Okay, so when you film your video, when we're talking about your video production, you're talking about yourself, you're talking about your statement, okay? Your biography is your journey and experiences as an artist. It's written at a third-person point of view. And an artistic resume is similar to regular resume, but it's focused on your art. You can use SMART goals when planning your artistic endeavors. So this is something that I'm adding there again, just to make sure, number 1, that you keep realistic goals to feel success, okay? This is something I'm noticing a lot when we're talking and when I'm talking to people, is things tend to go in different places. It's always very good to just narrow it down and go step by step and not overthink things, okay? A small realistic goal of I will post 1 post today, or I will complete 2 sentences, okay? So just looking at things that you're able to do, that you will feel a success, and then it will take your career further. Social media tools that you can use include Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, ArtStation, and more. A website should include a landing page, artworks, an About Me section, and a contact information section. And a brochure should include a cover page, a name and a logo, an eye-catching image, an artist statement, a contact page, images, and a call to action. So now we're going to start with copyrights. Why am I starting with copyrights? Again, it's something that was requested a lot. A lot of people are unsure about their intellectual property when it comes to posting things online. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not somebody who is really knowledgeable with laws and stuff. Love my sister. My sister is amazing. But I will guide you today through places where you can find information, where there's a team of specialists in that field that can guide you best. So today, I'm actually acting as a learner with you. I'm a guide to learning. I'm not basically the person with all the knowledge, but I've narrowed down key places that have information about copyrights, and I'm going to guide you where there's there's a team that if you really have a specific question, where you can go. So we're going to look first of all as how do we define copyrights? So according to the Government of Canada, so this is taken exactly from the Government of Canada on their website about copyrights in the arts world. So in the simplest terms, copyrights mean the right to copy. So in general, copyright means the sole right to produce or reproduce a work or a substantial part of it in any form. So it includes the right to perform the work or any substantial part of it, or in the case of a lecture, to deliver it. If the work is unpublished, copyright includes the right to publish the work or any substantial part of it. So this is what the Government of Canada sees at what copyright is in terms of in the arts. So what are copyrights? So copyright provides protection for literary, artistic, dramatic, or musical works, so that including computer programs and other subject matter known as performers' performances, sound recordings, and communication signals. So according to the Government of Canada, what copyrights protect? So copyrights applies to all original literacy, dramatic, musical, and artistic works, provided the conditions set out in the Copyright Act have been met. So each of these general categories covers a wide range of creation, including, oh, there's another page. There we go. Oops, maybe I skipped one. No, sorry. It's coming back. Basically, it's including all the media. There we go. And I'm going to take you to the page. So it's including, again, the video, audio, images, and artwork. So your link here, I'm going to, no, it's not there quite yet. I think there's a page that, there we go. There we go. Got it. Okay, so including literary works such as books, pamphlets, computer programs, and other works consisting of text, dramatic works such as motion picture films, plays, screenplays, and scripts, musical works such as composition with or without words, artistic works such as paintings, drawings, maps, photographs, sculptures, and plans. So I'm going to leave here and I'm going to take you on the page of documents. So if you would like to have your work copyrighted, it's possible. I personally don't have my work copyrighted. Like maybe something, if one day one of my pieces becomes very, very famous, but if I just, put my paintings in a coffee shop, I'm not going to go and copyright it. But that being said, that's my personal decision. If some of you really would feel much more comfortable having copyright, if you go on the website here of the Government of Canada, so there's the guide to copyright. Okay, so this is where you can go, okay, when there's specific forms, okay, on where you can apply for copyright. So what I put in the presentation before here is taken exactly from here. Okay, so this is the part that would have been of interest for you. I'm not going to go through all of these things so there's something you can look at, but if you want, you can apply online. So there's forms online here. So there's e-services and forms. okay, that you can use. It says fee form here, so there's a fee for copyrights, but all of it is explained in detail on the government site. So here it gives you, there's guides on application for registration of a copyright in a work. There's certificates, order copyrights document, general correspondence and instruction. Again, this isn't something that you would need right now, but this is my opinion, right? So it's maybe something that you feel you have to do, but if it's the case for you, this is where you can go. So coming back here, so we have my forms. Sorry about the little delay before. I was like, well, I don't know why it was coming back, but it happens. It's technology. Oh, the other place here, I'm actually going to go like this because it's a little easier for me to navigate because I have so many links. So CARFAC, I don't know if you are aware of CARFAC, but CARFAC is an organization that supports artists in terms of decent pay, copyright, rights of artists in Canada. They militate a lot for basically basic pay, visibility for artists. So I suggest that you visit their website. But according to them, there's moral rights to an artist's work. So on their website, it says here that moral rights are the right to protect your artwork against distortion, alteration, or mutilation in a way which prejudices, sorry, it's a little hard for me as a French-speaking person, but I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying. So prejudices your reputation. There's also the right to associate your name as the author of your work or remain anonymous if you choose, and the right to protect your visual image from association with a cause, a product, a service, or institution to which you're personally opposed. So if we go here on the other website here of, whoops, I have to move this screen right here. So CARFAC, so this is it here. They have basically, you can learn about tools for artists. So best practices for Canadian visual art, legal clinic for artists, know your copyright. So you can go here and look at like every single information that you want to have about copyright. So that's a different, so this is the moral part that I put in the presentation of what they're saying, because I felt it, because the other parts come back to what the government is saying, but they're going more into depth as the Canadian Artists Representation Group. So you can become a member if you want. I am a member of CARFAC. So you get a lot of information all the time about your rights and practices as an artist. Now, I know we're still in like a very big, like what copyrights are, but we're going to narrow it down for how you can comfortably take action if you don't go with the route of official organization. So they have also a website called Copyrights Visual Arts. So what it is they say, or would they feel that copyright is not a privilege granted to private individuals having the status of artists, as if it were a kind of aristocracy. Artists are cultural workers and all work deserves remuneration. So copyright is a private property right similar to which pertains to a building or a car, except that this right applies the result of a creative intellectual effort. So I really liked what they were saying here, and I think it really adds on to like that, like narrow down that we're doing here, is that your intellectual effort is worth the same as property right when it comes to artistic creation. So it says here like a sculpture, a painting, a theater costume, a blown glass vase, a play, novel, etc. So you have to really look at it that you have intellectual property to your work, even if you post it online or post it on your website or send it to a gallery. Your work, because it remains your work in terms of you being the creator of your work. There's here, if you're interested, they also have this thing here called Image Bank. So it's a new digital licensing platform for Canadian visual art. I'm not as familiar with it because it's actually really brand new, I think from earlier this August. So I'm still exploring it. So I don't want to go too much into depth with this. But I really recommend that you look at it, because I think they're offering more services by being part of it, where like your work automatically gets copyrighted. So if people want to use your images, all credits will go to you. And I think there may be remuneration around it. So I would look more into it. So I don't want to talk too much because I don't know about it, but it's something that, like, if you want to know more about it, you can go in. So there's tips to protect your work. So basically, if you don't feel that you're in a stage where, or that you don't care about like all of these more in-depth copyrights ideas, or that you don't feel that it's where you are now in your career, there's still things that you can do in your current practice that will really support the copyright and your intellectual property in your work. So there's things here, and this is the part that you should always consider to do when you do your practice, that it's music, painting, singing, all of these things here that I'm going to talk about will help you with your intellectual property and showing your copyright. So it's just basically habits to take when you create. So always sign your name on your pieces. As silly as it is, I'm the guiltiest of forgetting to put my name down, and then I take a picture and I post it and I'm like, oh no, I didn't put my name on it. So I'm guilty. So I haven't, so even I have things like, that I'm not perfect at, but some learning more about it, I'm definitely much more aware of even though I feel that my signature when I put it is all I see on the piece, because it was never created around the piece, that it's a way for me to make sure that my work is copyrighted. So you see, you can incorporate your signature within your painting if you want. You can put it on the right side, but sometimes you can even document yourself signing the piece, right? So you can say, hey, when I'm going to write my name, I'm going to make sure that I take a picture of me doing it, or take a video of me doing it. So that adds a layer of protection if somebody wants to steal your work, basically. Keep digital records of your work. So something silly to do, but it's not actually silly, because it's also part of a lot of the trend of TikToks and doing reels, is to document your process. So if you take pictures of you making the work, or you writing the song, or you practicing, you're adding documentation that the end result is yours. You can also take a picture with a newspaper and show the date. It's like, hey, this is August 21st, 2021. Here's me with my sculpture, so that keeps a different documentation. You can take professional photos, so that would refer to course number 1, and have a witness or a helper. And pictures on your phone will store when the picture was taken. So if you take a picture with your phone, you'll see that there's always a date above it. So that can also help you. That's something that we don't always think about. But if you take a picture, it will also register the date. Yeah, I think you can use initials. Definitely. I think that if you are known, for example, Renoir, if I go back to the example before, Renoir was his artist signature. If you always write LP, for me, I only write Ollie. I don't write my full name. I just write Ollie, because I have this thing about how when I write my name on a painting, I'm a bit OCD. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and it drives me crazy. So the least the letters, the better. But it's about consistency. So if it's always the same on every single painting, then you can show different examples of different paintings to show that this is how you sign. Okay, this is the one. I'm not going to talk as much about this, because this is going to be part of what we're going to do next week, to talk about sending your work to galleries is to create a certificate of authenticity. So basically, it's an official document that proves that your work is yours. Next week, I'm going to give you a template that you can use for your paintings. So it's something that it's good practice to do whenever when you brand yourself as a professional artist, that every painting comes with a certificate that says that the work is official and it's yours. So next week, we're actually going to have like a 15 minutes more on this because it's important and something that you can have for your pieces that are at the Outsiders Art Festival. So if somebody buys your painting, they know that it's an original and that it's yours. It's not something that's mandatory, but it's good practice. And I know that like a few galleries that I'm in all require a certificate of authenticity because this is what people expect when they spend more money on pieces. So basically, on my certificate, I always have my logo, right? So I talked about how you have to kind of, when you brand yourself in pamphlets that you do or website, that you keep the same font. So there's have to be similarities. And basically it's on it is just a quote that says, I, Olivier, certifies that this piece of work is authentic. So I'm going to give you exactly the right wording. And then on the other side, it has like all of the dimensions, information about the piece. And there's often a picture as well of the piece on the certificate. And then basically it's like a bill almost, like you write the number so you can have an official certificate number. So you can have if the Vancouver Outsiders Festival is your first certificate that you want to create, well, that could be like bill 01 and then, or bill 02 or certificate 01, certificate 02. So this is again something that we're going to talk about way more next week in course 5 as part of your how to reach galleries and creating a network, but something to keep in mind as good practice to whenever you're done a piece or a few pieces, as before you go and sell it or before you put it online, that you create your certificate. Like even last week on my stories on Instagram, I took a picture of myself creating my certificate of authenticity. So it kind of like adds on to the fact that like, oh, this is actually my work. It adds in like a credibility to it. So it's harder for people to come for your work because you're also showing that like this is what you do, right? So it can discourage people to try to steal your work. So protect your artwork on social media. Okay, so use watermarks. Okay, always make sure that you use watermarks. You don't have to, but this is a personal choice. So you see, this is one of the pieces that I've had. You can see my signature on the right. Like as again, like now I'm not even looking at the yellow. I'm always all I see is that black section here. I'm not like happy that it's there, but it's there. But you see, I added Olivier Salva Artist. This is my logo. I always use that same font. And when I put it online, you see my logo at the bottom. So if somebody takes this picture from me, well, then they actually have to crop it and get rid of it. So it's actually much more work for people. So it can discourage like any hackers or any people that want to take your picture to like take it out. Also, like if your picture was posted earlier and then you have the signature and the watermark, this is like, okay, there's like a double, like, it's like you're like a double threat, right? And always read the terms of conditions on the sites. Like I'm not going to go to all the terms of conditions of every single social media network, but just Instagram, I guess, is the most famous one. So what I wrote that's from their site is, we do not claim ownership of your content, but you grant us a license to use it, right? So there's legal terms here. So for example, like you remain the intellectual property, but like sometimes you will, by obviously Instagram has so many pictures, they're not gonna be like, I want this picture, but like sometimes on social media you actually are giving them the permission to use it, right? So it doesn't take away your intellectual property, but it's something to consider. For me, there's more pros in putting my work on Instagram, let's say, because I know I make sales from it, than it is, but if I was to do a piece of work that I'm curated for, that is not a painting, but more something I'm hoping that it travels everywhere, it might be a little different. You know, I'm not posting everything on Instagram that is more curated pieces or pieces that people have to actually pay a ticket, for example, to go see. Because if I put it there, well, then it can go everywhere and then they can use it and people can share it. And then people can be, well, I've seen it on Instagram. So what's the point of paying for your show? Right? But where, for example, is a painting that I want people to sell, it's at my advantage for me, anyways, and the way I see it, that as many people see it, because then I have a greater following and hopefully greater the sales. Let's see if there's a question. What is watermark? So, whoops, sorry, I'm going to go back here. So a watermark, basically, like, it's exactly like here. I don't know if you see, like, I put my name as Olivier Salva Artist. Basically, like, a watermark is something that sometimes you can put, sometimes on official documents, there's like, it says like draft, or it says like official document. It goes over the document to show basically that, like, it's like a stamp, like a virtual stamp that shows that it's your work. It's like your logo. You see it like Microsoft Word, you can add watermarks, like a backdrop. For example, you have an official document that if people reproduce it, but then they're always going to see the watermark in the background, so they know it's a reproduction of something that's official. So that's kind of like what a watermark is here. So you see, like, here, my name here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, that's my watermark. I added onto it. You can put it even over the work if you prefer to put it over the work, but then that shows that, like, it's your piece. I'm going to show you after how to create a watermark when we go into image editing. So that's why we're going back to image editing after, so you can see how using the image editing tool, how you can add word over your image. And then on websites, it's the same thing. You can add watermarks to every single of your paintings or work or pictures of your show. For example, if you're a musician, and then this, basically, I know it may come across like it's more for visual artists, but even when you perform and you want, you have like a CD cover or pictures that you have when you have a band, that you always have your logo. So it's not an official picture from your branding. So this really applies to more than just, for example, the picture of me that I've done to brand myself. I would put my watermark, because it's not just like a picture that people saw me like on the park and was like, hey, Ollie, it's you. It's more like, no, this is an official picture. I paid a photograph to do it. I paid it as part of my marketing. So I will add my watermark to it as well. If you are worried that people may right click and save your images, if you create carousel albums on your website, it turns into Flash. This is more of a techie thing. So as it turns around like all the time on its own, it may be harder to save, right? So people may have to do a screenshot if your pictures, like, because it kind of turns into like a small video. So that makes it hard. Like, people that won't be like, you know what, it's way too complicated. Like, I'm going to move on to the next one. And you can always use lower quality pictures or low resolution on your website. I know it doesn't make the best pictures, but, you know, like, if you're not giving it all away, you're kind of protecting the idea of your work, right? So it may not, you know, it's something that you can do, maybe not in brochures and things that you do, or like but if you are more worried about what you post online on your website, you can reduce the quality of the picture, because if people try to stretch it, then it's going to be more pixelated, so it's going to be less appealing. So you can keep your fancy pictures for portfolios, but then on your website you can have like more smaller icons. And let's see here. Anytime. Next one, we are going back to our main editing tools. So this is, now we're gonna go back a bit to course 1. So when you edit pictures, same thing can apply when we are editing videos. So we have the exposure tool, okay, that brightens or darkens your photo. We have the brilliance tool that is great, brings out detail and making your photo looks richer and look more vibrant. So again, I know like this is kind of like rewind out of context. The next slide is I'm taking you to actual image editors. Most of the image editing have similar tools. I'll give you options for tools, but I just wanted to go back on what we did in course 1 a bit, things that I kind of brought up. So basically now I'm kind of continuing because of where you're at in your journey, going back to course 1 and coming back here. So again, so the exposure brightens or darkens your photo. Your brilliance is great to bring out the details in your pictures. Highlight is just the brightness and bright areas of your photo. Shadow is a tool to adjust the brightness of only the dark areas in your photo. Contrast is a tool to adjust the contrast between the dark and bright tones in your photo. Brightness is a tool to brighten or darkens your photo, but it does it in a slightly different and usually better way from the exposure tool. So this is a little different. This one is like more like, the other one is just like a small step. Black point tool affects the brightness of only the darkest tones in your photo, and saturation tool makes the color more vibrant or less vibrant. So, okay, my Bible, sorry for the religious reference, but I'm using it as a metaphor here, is Canva. As a beginner artist, or as I love to use Canva for all of my work, I'm going to bring up Canva a few times today. The number one reason why I love Canva so much is that it's free. And because it's on the computer, you can use it with any device. It has an app. It's gorgeous. You can use it on your phone. You can use it online. And again, it's free. You can pay for upgrades if you want, but you don't need to. For the basic tools, the Canva, you can edit pictures, you can use your social media, and we can see later that it will be a great tool as well to create videos if you don't have a video software on your phone or on your computer. So there's so much that you can do. So I feel that Canva you'll see it's maybe not the best in terms of creating the best image quality, but it's really a site where you have so many great tools for free in a very user-friendly way. So I would recommend Canva. I'm going to show you other ones, but then actually after, I'm going to take you on Canva to do a demonstration on how to adjust the image editing and how to add a watermark. You can use PicMonkey as well when you want to do your editing. Or pictures. So there's clear images. The thing with PicMonkey, there's not as many functionalities as Canva. It's definitely much more driven to editing a picture. So, but the images look way more professional. They're way brighter. I guess this is more for band pictures or pictures of you with your artwork and in the gallery, because you don't want to change your artwork too much when you post it online. Here, there's definitely more templates and options, but it's more focused on image editing. So you may opt to use PicMonkey to create your picture and then upload it onto Canva to create a social media post, let's say, or you can use both if Canva is not the quality of the picture that you would like to have. There's other free sites, and I'm not going to go over every single one of them out of like time. But if you don't like Canva and if you don't like PicMonkey, this is totally fine. There's Snappa, PictoChart, and Pixlr. PictoChart is much nicer to create a chart. So if you want to create like a slogan or like a small brochure about your work, it's a great tool to use it, and there's a little more user-friendly than Canva for that aspect. But again, Canva for me is what I'm going to take you on a tour right now because of the multi-functionalities that it offers. So today we're going to make a social media post with me. So we're going to create an Instagram post today. So you see, when you go to Canva, again, what some people last week, I said create a brochure. So you can write brochure and then you have your brochure template already done. You can have a Facebook post. You can even write a poster. So you can create a poster, postcard, a Facebook post, an Instagram post. So you see you have so many different options. But here we're going to keep here with my social media post, okay? The cool thing about Canva is that here you can use different templates if you want to create a social media post. I'm not going to use it today because I want to focus on artwork. But if you're somebody who's like, I want to have one of those really good looking Instagram posts, well, you see, you can simply take, let's say this one, use it, and then change this to your own picture, and then you have your Instagram post. It's your choice, okay? Today, I just want to show you with pictures. If you want to use different pictures, let's say before you have like a full range here of photos that you can use for your social media. You have audio, but what I'm more focused about here is upload media. So upload media, this is your own pictures, okay? So this is what we'll do today. So I'm going to use, let's say, this picture that I did the other day. I did this painting. So what I do is here you can upload the media. So I've uploaded them right away just in case my computer was getting slow. So upload your media, okay? And then you have all your art. So for example, all my art is there, like the latest things that I've done. So my painting is here. And today what I'll do is you can actually like make it bigger. So if you want your art to do the full square, let's say you can go like this. It's your choice. I'm going to stretch it. You don't have to, but I'm going to do it today so it's clear for everybody. And as we talked about earlier in the image editing tools, they are here in adjust. So you see, we talk about brightness, contrast, saturation. They all are coming back here in different ways. So if I look at my picture here, I took it using the triangle that I've talked to you about. But the thing is, with my painting here, I noticed that because I had to take it inside, there was some things that I'm not feeling like it's 100% what the painting looked like in person. It's definitely not as bright, so maybe my lighting was a little too bright. So I'm gonna try to see if I can take it down. You see, so now it looks much more like the actual original painting. I wouldn't change this that much because it's not, you want to make sure that your painting looks like your painting, but sometimes if you do a homemade photo shoot, you may have little things to adjust to make sure that it's the most accurate product as possible. We talked about saturation, so I'm like, okay, well then the blues really come out way, like here, they're like, for example, I'm looking at the blue here. In person, it's much brighter. So I'm gonna just add it on a bit till I feel like, okay, now it's popping more. It's more up to what I would do. So basically you can do anything like this. You can add some clarity if you feel like it's not clear enough. You can add some contrast if you want, up and down, to make your piece look exactly the way you feel it should look like. If you want to add a vignette, you can, but like we don't have to right now. If you think that the colors are not vibrant enough. Okay, so you see, I just feel now that my art is the way it's supposed to look. As we talked about here, you see, I need to have a watermark to make sure, because I want to make sure that nobody will steal this gorgeous piece of work that is worth $1 million, right? So I don't want them to get the $1 million. I want to have it. So I'm going to go here where it says text. So I'm going to pick here, add a heading, you see, and then it goes over your work. So I'm going to put my name. So I'm going to put Olivier Salva. So that's my watermark. And then I'm going to use here, whenever in my branding, I always use Special Elite because that's the font that I like to use for consistency. And you see, I have my watermark. So I can put it bigger if I want to, smaller. I always like it in the right corner, like this. So you see, I just created my watermark. If you think, oh, it's not good enough for me, I'm still too stressed about people stealing my work, I can go like this, make it bigger and put it halfway like this so people can see the work in the background that my name is here. You see, you can always change the font, the color. So you can say, you know what, I want it there, but I want to make sure it's paler so it's not as noticeable, but then it's still there. So I can put it white. You can have effects on it if you want to have a neon look to it if you want to. I don't necessarily recommend it. But if it's your brand, it's your brand. So yeah, so I prefer darker, and the way I like it is in the corner like this. So I've got my watermark for online, and then I can take it in the corner. And whenever I'm done, I click download, and then you can choose. You can use PNG. You can use, I use JPEG usually. And then you can say, okay, do I want, you know, when we were talking about the quality of pictures earlier in the, on your website, so you can decide that you want to have it high quality because you're going to use this picture for the pamphlet of the Vancouver Outsiders Art Festival. So I'm going to save this one, but I also want a very low quality for my website. So people, on top of having my watermark, will have a low quality picture. So if they copy and pay and want to use it, it's going to be so pixelated when they stretch it. So this is your option here if you want to go to add a watermark. So for the festival, I would say like, I need the fanciest one ever. Now you click download, and then you've saved your design. And if I come here and I say affiché on the finder, and then here we go. If I click on it, there we go. It is there right here. I have my image, it's ready to go, and I can add it on my website. I can add it on my social media. And yeah, so this is a way to add a watermark to your picture after doing some editing. So it's good practice to do. It's not mandatory practice. It's not something that you have to do for the festival, but it's just a tool to help you with protecting yourself when you are putting your work online. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. Basically, the watermark is part of your brand. Like, I choose to put it on the right side because this is where I usually would sign. This is where my eye go to. If you feel like you want to have it on the other side, and you put it on the other side. For the Federation Canadian, it would only allow high-resolution photos to use to post on their online submission. What do you think then? Well, then when I submit to the Federation, actually don't put a watermark on it because I'm sending to a private group. It's not something that I would send, that I would actually post to the general public. So this, what I just did, were example to protect your copyrights when you publish your work online, or when you actually publish your work in places that are public, to protect your identity. If I was to go and send it to the Federation of Artists, first of all, I would take away my watermark, or you can leave it. I don't know about their quotes about watermarks, if they want a picture or not. Like, I would have to double check their standards on this. But then when I click download, I would go and have like the highest quality. You see, so here you go up here, the size is a little bigger, and then you can have like the high quality image. So PNG here says high quality image. So this is what I would use to send to the Federation for your submissions. All right, so I will look at my next slide. Oh, here we go. So now we did a little tour of Canva on how you can do. So basically, if you use different tools for image editing, it's very similar. Okay, so you can transfer this knowledge and just have to find those same tools, but onto other sites, because basically it's the same all across, but they just have different ways of doing it. My reasoning for Canva is that it helps you as well create a brand on social media. It helps you build your brand. It helps you, you can reshape. Again, let's say you like this, but then you say, you know what, I'm going to resize this exact same post because I like it, and I'm going to turn it into an Instagram story, let's say for your promotion. And here it is. It's already resized for you. So you can reuse the same post and change it all the time. So it's just very user-friendly when you start and you don't have somebody there taking care of all your branding. All right. now we're going back to the video project, unless there's a question on watermarks and copyrights on images. And if there's more question after.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm sorry, I missed the location of the watermark. Right or left, bottom, does it matter?
It doesn't matter. It's your decision. Some
Okay.
people would put it all across their art. Some people would put it in the right corner. It's really up to your comfort level.
Okay. Now, that watermark, I created like a plastic piece saying Mohammed Foda Fine Art, and then a signature that I'm sticking onto these pieces of artwork that I've done.
Mhm.
Would that matter?
No, no, no.
Because I can't really paint on the material cloth that is covering the wood board.
Mhm. So basically, there's two kind of aspects to your question. Adding a watermark is not necessary. It's just a layer, an idea if you want to add a layer of protection for your work. The main idea is to have your work signed so people can see that your work is signed. So if your work is already signed, and then when you take a picture of it, when you post it online, we can clearly see it's your name, then it's totally fine and it works. It kind of goes back to our first thing here about making sure your name is signed here, and making sure that like maybe you're documenting the process. So you took a picture of you with the work, you can actually take a picture of you putting the sticker on the work. So then those are different tips of different things that you can do to make sure that your intellectual property is proven, basically.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm working with an intellectual property lawyer for a patent that I am trying to do.
Oh, awesome.
And I asked him about artwork. This is what he told me. And again, it's not a legal opinion that I'm giving, but he told me put your name, the date, like the year of your artwork production, and say all rights reserved. He said by doing so, you are totally protected by putting things online. Obviously, I'm not giving this idea for everyone to use, but this is what I was told.
Sure. Well, you see, that's really like part of the recording your process here. Like that's the thing. Taking a picture with that is a great idea too.
Okay.
So that's awesome. Thanks for bringing this up.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go on to the video project because I see that we are almost at the end of the first hour. So video project, again, I'm going to go really quick. You have to create a video to promote yourself as part of the festival because the festival will be using that video for their marketing. So again, we want to know that who you are, what is your process, what you're presenting, and how we can learn more about you. So again, your connection to your artistic biography and statement, and at the end to your personal project. So your video project, we're learning again about the first section about who you are. Okay, so telling us about your background as an artist. So you're going to introduce yourself, where you're from, what do you do for art, when you first start being active as an artist. You can talk about your past experiences and your current showcases or projects. What is your process? This is linked again to your artistic statement. So state the medium that you work in. You can incorporate the what and the why of your work, and then go and describe the materials, techniques, and forms that you use for your work. Mention your artistic influences if you want, and write about your art in general or specific work, what makes you unique. You can just say, because I'm fabulous, and that's just plenty and perfect. The next one. Oh, so what are you presenting, okay, at the festival? So what is it that you're doing? When was it created? Is there any messages or meaning behind the work? And basically I would say one that's important is like, how does your work fit into the Vancouver Outsiders Arts Festival? Okay, so like maybe conclude that section saying like, this fits as part of a collective because you're working within a collective festival here. And my computer, there we go. I don't know how I went from like clicking one to spinning like 5 pages, but it's okay. And then learning more from you. Again, this is where you can show us your promotional tool, a promotional tool that you already have that you decided to modify or twist. So again, it's not something that you have to create entirely from scratch. It can be something that you already have that you're just modifying. Basically, at the end, we just want to know how we can keep learning about you after the festival. So we want to make sure that like what you're doing now will take you somewhere after, and that you can keep benefiting from the work that you've done at the festival in your own artistic careers. So there's free video editing applications that you can use. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go and do examples with 2, but the first 3, there's Lightworks and OpenShot. Those 2 are great applications. The reason why I put them first is because they are easy to use on all platforms such as Windows, Mac, and Linux, and everything else that you want to use. Windows Video Editor and iMovie. Basically, Windows Video Editor is the free video editing of Windows, and iMovie is the free video editing of Apple. Maybe sadly for some today, and happy for those, I actually have a MacBook, so I will be showing, demonstrating with iMovie because that's what I have. But on Windows Video Editor, it's very similar. It's just built a different way. And again, guess what? Your new best friend, Canva, has a video editing tool included in it. So if you don't have any of these things on your computer, you can just go online on your new best friend's website, Canva, where you can have your own video editor that's going to give you a very basic video little that you can have for the festival. Yes, I can send you a breakdown of what to do in the video by email for sure. There we go. So demonstration. So I'm going to show you 2 things. Which one do I go first? There we go. I'm going to start here. This is the iMovie platform. So basically, the first thing that you do, okay, is that you can create a project. So you can create a film or a trailer. Again, sorry, it's in French, but I'm translating for you. So there we go. So you can have your film. You can import medias. So whatever movie that you've done, so your 4 sections that you created already, make sure that they are on your computer, and then you import your media. So I've actually already did it here. So I'm going to go back to here. So I've imported for me like some video footage that I have of my work. So once all your media that you're intending to use for the festival is here, okay? So you should have 4 videos for the 4 parts, okay? Then you can simply drag them here, okay? So here, let's say I have my first video, and then I'm adding this one here. So then I have 1 video and 2 videos. So you see how they're just one after another. For each video, you can do editing. So we've talked about editing for image editing in Canva and other stuff. This is the same thing here. So you can decide to add a filter. So you say, you know what, like I want to have a black and white film when I talk, and I just want my art to be in color. Let's say you can decide to do black and white. I won't. You can reverse it if you want, or you can choose something that you want. Here, same thing, you have your editing tools, okay? So you can make it a little brighter if you want. Very similar to the editing. You can frame things, so you can like say, you know what, like I want this a little smaller. I don't want the whole thing. I just want this. I feel there's too much space around me. So you can use here, you can crop things using this gorgeous tool here, and then say, you know what, I like it, so I'm going to make it like this. So here you have all of the stuff that you can do. You don't have to use that your first time. You can simply just take all 4 videos and drag them and then make it into one film, and it's completely fine. You can add music if you want. So this will connect straight to your movie, not your movie, sorry, your song that you have on your computer. Okay, so you have like on iTunes, you're gonna have like, and you also have music from GarageBand. So if you want to have like a music playing in the background, you can. So let's say I want to add like, I don't know, I can do anything like, oh, Halloween city. You can tell this is my thing for the kids. So I'm gonna say, there we go. I can add songs if I want to. I can put it below and then put it very much quieter if I want to. So if I want to have something playing behind me, you can also say, hey, I have titles. I'm going to check the questions. On the video platform. Oh, maybe it's taking a long. Maybe it's because it's too fast. So are you seeing it more now? Oh, maybe it's because, you know what? I think I know why. Let me see here. I have to go like this. Can you see it now? I have to change my setting.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So I'm going to restart here. Sorry about that. I had to change the setting to my screen sharing to desktop and not just Google Chrome. So that's what happened. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to start again here just quickly. So basically here we have, you can drag on like all of the movies that you filmed. So for example, your 4 sections. So I'm going to go back here, right here. So you can import your medias here. So once your 4 films are on your computer, you import them using this tool, and then it can take you in your computer, and then you can import the files that you need. So I've already done this ahead of time here. This is the one. No, that's not the one. There we go. So I've done it already. So then I can take my films and simply drag them here. So this is part 1. I'm going to say part 2. And then, no, this is part 2. There we go. And then part 3. And then I'm going to say this was part 4. So I just took random videos. So if I want to edit them, like the video editing, you have all different tools here on how to edit these, basically these videos. You don't have to, because these videos are basically more videos of you when you're speaking about your work at the festival. So if you want to give yourself a filter, you can. If you want to have like a pink explosion, anything black and white, you choose. If you want to crop your image, okay, because you feel you have too much blank spots around you, you can, just go like this, and then it's cropped. Okay, you can also work on filters, or not filters, editing tools, a bit like what we just did with Canva. So you can say, hey, I want this a little brighter, a little darker. So you can adjust the image here. But this is really up to you. It's not something that you need to create your short film about you. Something that you can do here as well is add music. Okay, so if you want to have a little music behind you, you can. If you want to add, for example, for those of you who have their own composition, you can say, you know what, I'm going to play my song in the background if you want, or one of my compositions, so people hear my songs while I'm speaking. Obviously, you'll need to adjust here. You see going up, so this is going to be really loud. But if you just want it in the backdrop, so we can hear like a little bit of music in the background, you can go maybe to like 5%, just making sure that the voice in your video is higher than the background music, because otherwise we won't hear you. So like put it as low as possible if this is something that you want to do. And then you can add titles. Then you just click titles. So you drag the title here, and you see here, title text here. So you can say, you go directly on here after. So once you drag the title that you want, Then you just go like Ollie, and then I'm gonna say festival, and then like 2021. You can decide what you want to do. So you see, maybe this isn't the best color because it's not staying as long. Maybe I should change the color so it's more noticeable on this. So you can change the colors or the font or the size here. So you say, you know what, I think I'm gonna go like this so it's bigger. I'm not gonna use white, I'm gonna use yellow because I wanna make sure people can see it properly. And I'm also going to make it last longer. So you can, this is how you can start. You can also decide to take your title and put it before if you want to. So if you want to say Festival Ollie 2021 and then go into your video, you can, okay? So that's your decision. You do whatever you want to do with that, but you see it's blocks. You just simply have to move things. And again, the titles, it's not something that you have to do. Your video can simply be, I'm adding those 4 parts together into one file and call it a day. If you want, you can add transitions. So in between the segments, you can say, you know what, I'm going to use mosaic here. So you see, when you go from section 1 to section 2, it goes like this. You can decide to have more of a, oh, you like my little music trumpet tune from King Arthur? And then it slides over like this. So you can decide to add little transitions if you want. So it's really your decision. But this is one of the tools that you can use to do some video editing. Later today, when this the video recording part will be done, we'll be able to go more one-on-one and guide you on how to do these things. But I will not go more in the video the recorded section for all our viewers are going to watch this after. So if you want to know more about it, there's a lot of video tutorial on how to use iMovie. But if you prefer to say, you know, I'm going to use Windows Movie Maker, there's lots of online tutorials on how to use the platform of your choice. If you opt, oh, now can you still see my screen? I guess I should have just picked desktop from the start. Oh, I have a question. Perfect, yay. Okay, so again, if you want to use my best friend Canva, create a design, guess what you can do as well? Something that's very user-friendly, video. So here you have an editor if you want to do. Okay, so they have a free video editing with a video here on how to do a video. I'm not going to do it right away because I want to make sure that like everything works properly. So again, similar to when you were creating your post, but now we're creating a short film. So if you want to start here with a blank page with a title, you just leave the first page a blank page and then say, you know what, I'm going to use this gorgeous font and I'm going to write Ollie. I think 5 seconds here is maybe a little too long. So I'm going to narrow it down to 2 minutes, not minutes, 2 seconds. So like Ollie's going to be there for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to add a page. So I'm going to go to my upload, but instead of going to images, I'm going to go to videos. So I'm going to, let's say, use, again, this one that I used before, and I'm going to drag it in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to say section 2, let's say, is my process. So I'm going to use, again, a blank page. I'm going to put my process. Oops. And then I can move it like this. Take it in the middle. And then click here. And again, 5 seconds is too long for me. So I'm going to put 2. And then I'm going to, again, now go in my uploads and put the video about my process. So let's say this is my video about my process. And I put it here. So you see. And then if you think those videos are too long, if you want to crop them, then you just crop like this. So you can go, oh, I'm only going to use this first 6 seconds. At the end, there's like a blank section. So I can reduce the time like that. And then I just simply click done. Same for here. It's a little too long. Voila. And as with iMovie, you can add audio. So you can go here and they have a bank of free of rights music. Again, make sure that like if you're going to use it, okay, that the sound, okay, here the sound is going to be lower than the sound of your videos. Okay, so if you want to reduce it, so you see this is 100%. I only want 5% of my sound in the background. Okay, and then you can choose a section if you want. So this is what I'm going to use. So you can click here, you can look at the video. So if you're satisfied with that, again, same thing as for image editing, you're going to click on your arrow here, and then you're going to download it as a MP4 video. Okay, you want to select all pages. Okay, and then you click download, and then your download will start exactly the same way as you did for your image. And then you're going to get, you see, MP4 video Ollie is downloading, and it's going to go straight onto your computer. So the thing with Canva and video editing, it is not meant to, it's not, I would say, the best video editor. It is practical for you if you're starting and you want to create a video for, like, for example, for the festival, you've never created a video. So it's very by blocks, straightforward, again, on the same platform. So this is something that I would suggest if you're not too sure about going for video editing, because this is very like, this is very simple and it's very step by step by step. So this is an option that you can use to edit your video. So now it is time, and I guess I spoke a little more again than I thought, for your workshop time. So for your workshop time today, and if you have questions, I'm going to take them when the video recording is done to make sure that I can conclude this. You have a choice today. You can work on video editing and try the different video editing platform of your choice. So this would be a good trial and error time for you. Or you can continue working on your personal project. Let's say if you have more questions on your personal project, let's say there's 5 of you who are building website and they don't have a specific question. Maybe we can do a breakdown group of just or a specific time where I'm only talking about websites and everybody else can mute their computer and come back. So it's your decision. So the workshop, again, is a breakdown, info sessions or questions according to the needs for the personal project or video editing practice. You can come back around 12:40 or even maybe a little later today. I don't think there's, if there's big questions, or today we may just let you work. And if you don't need to and you're fine, you're on top of things, you can just work on your own. The videos will be done, will have to be finished by end of projects by September 1st. If you want proper feedback and help by the end of the last course. On the last course, as your homework here, we will be presenting your project. Doesn't have to be an oral a formal oral presentation. You're not getting marked on this at all, but it's more kind of like to wrap up everything that you've done, to see if other people can learn from you, because we're actually doing a course next week on networking. And I mean, sure, you all have networks, but right now your group, your cohort of learners is a network. I would always recommend, and I'm going to talk to it about it next week, that you stay in touch and that you work together, because you are growing together and then you benefit from each other's network for your growth. Don't forget, there's no competition amongst artists. We are all different. We all bring something different to the table. So this is about working together. So next week, there's not going to be a workshop time. It's going to be more of a presentation time. If you want to share your video instead, you can. But given the fact that we're about 15, 5 minutes will take us about 45 minutes, and the transition is going to be an hour. So I would try to keep it around 5 minutes to make sure that we have enough time for my presentation on networking and life after the festival. I will answer your question when the video is not recording, simply because I want to make sure that everyone that is watching this after is not taking too long. So yeah, so next workshop will be on networking, presentations, and the last words from the Vancouver Outsider Art Festival. So if there's any questions or anything that the festival wants to address you, it will be the last session before your festival. So yeah, so if there's any addresses, they will be done there. And that's it. So that's it for me for today for the recorded part. And we'll see you shortly for the non-recorded part. So enjoy your week.